And I
Hello, everybody. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome to a very special session. How's everybody doing?
Awesome, amazing.
Excellent.
Excellent.
I love it. Awesome. Fantastic. I'm trying to think of a really big word, but anyway. Anyway, welcome to Coach's Corner. And this topic, wow, do you feel that you have the right to be rich? Wow. This is amazing. So this is we decided to continue Coach's Corner and dive into a very, very popular book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Extremely powerful. And we're going to share chapter 1 today and go in depth in some very, very hot topics today, because this is going to speak to you in so many different ways. And I'm sure this is going to be an amazing session. And it's always a pleasure sharing this knowledge with my amazing colleagues. And I'm grateful to be here and share this knowledge with you and inspire you and give you some type of insight as well. So without further ado, my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach / business consultant. Basically, I help individuals, entrepreneurs, and businesses. And my purpose is to reveal the hidden potential that's already within you and guide you to your truest desires. And it's all about believing in the unseen, basically connecting you from where you are to where you want to go and improving your mindset and yourself, and the essence of who you are along the way. So I am in Maryland in my office, and the energy is different in here. I might want to do some more sessions in here. And I see agreements from my colleagues there. So I'll pass it on to my amazing colleague, Lou.
Oh, hello, everyone. Let me just clarify. First of all, I did not dye my hair purple. The camera in my laptop, for whatever reason, in my other camera is not working, but I'm feeling fine. I'm just looking a little purple. So I'm very excited about delving into the science of getting rich. And it's really interesting. Just the title alone may bring up money paradigms and, how you feel about money. What are your thoughts about success? So this is why I'm excited to dive into this book with my amazing colleagues as well. So my name is Lou Perica. I am a success mindset mentor and coach, and I support and guide women who may feel stuck or unfulfilled, and they want to reconnect. I help them reconnect with their innermost truth so they can gain some clarity, they can gain confidence, and then they have the courage to finally take action to the life that they truly desire, one that's filled with prosperity and purpose. And I'm so grateful that you're here today with us. Alicia?
Hello, my name is Alicia, and I am also a certified values and mindset coach, and I help high performance that have everything but still feel empty on the inside. So I help to create a life that feels good on the inside, in alignment with their values. And also I help leaders to be leaders who are following. And I am in Sweden. Paul.
Thank you, Alicia. My name's Paul Wooters. I'm in Burlington, Ontario, Canada, and I'm a success mindset coach and mentor, Proctor Gallagher consultant, and recently appointed Director of Inner Potential and Personal Mastery at the World Life Education Center and High School, a private school here in Oakville. And how did this all happen? It happened by putting into practice the principles that we discuss here every week. the principles that we discuss and that we teach other people. And I help you live your life by design rather than by default. And I help you achieve your most elusive personal and professional goals. Jamel.
Wow. Speaking of goals, this taps right into goals, and it's connected pretty much to everything you strive to be. Oh wow, this is such an amazing topic. You know what? I'm gonna start this off with something that I'm really excited about, and for all our viewers here and those that are with us live and watch the replay, make sure you engage with us. You know, put a comment, you know, like or heart it, because what's really important is energy. Energy. Connecting to this material has the ability to change your life. It really does. And I was reading chapter 1 of this book with the awareness that I have now, and picked up so much more than the time that I read it. Am I the only? Okay, we all can relate to that, right? We're different people. And that's the importance of growth, because you become a different person the more you learn about yourself and how you're connected with the world and all the results in your life. So for you just being here, congratulate yourself for tuning into this session and being curious about your life and how this can impact you. So I just want to give you applause for being here. All right. So pat yourself on the back. So, you know, we have different versions of this book, but it's pretty much the same content, powerful content. I have the this version. This is the original retro.
Look at this one.
Okay, there we go. But, you know, the words are extremely powerful. And why do we decide to you know, help people with this and go in depth about it? Because this book we all agreed on is very powerful, and it impacted our lives in some type of way. And speaking of impact, this book actually inspired The Secret about the law of attraction with Rhonda Byrne, and I did not know that. And it inspired, you know, a lot of other things that you may not be aware of. So, chapter 1, the right to be rich. Wow. The right. Every person that watches this, every person that doesn't, all of us here have the right to be rich. This chapter, we're going to touch on some things that may touch some sensitive spots with your paradigm and some limiting beliefs you have about money. It did for me. And I was like, wow, this is totally powerful. So to jump things off, where are my notes here? The first thing that jumps out to me and in this chapter, the right to be rich. And in my version, it used man a lot. Of course, it's man or woman, or, you know, non-binary, whatever, you know, person, right? So it says no person can rise to their greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless they have plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, they must have many things to use, and they cannot have these things unless they have money to buy them. That's very interesting, and it really stood out to me. Anybody want to segue after that? Because that spoke to me a lot.
Sure, I'll hop in. So I'm taking and you guys may be on that call as well, Mastering Your Money Mindset call. And what I love is when Bob said, money is not everything, but it will affect everything you do. So I think for us to dive into this book, I think addressing the money paradigm is really very important. This goes to say that, you know, money itself is not the goal. The money itself is never the goal, but it is the source, but it itself is not the source of happiness or the purpose, but it does touch upon every part of our lives. So we really have to take a different, I know for me, a different way of looking at money. Money, when I was growing up, the only time it was brought up was the lack of. My mom, when I would ask for something, yeah, she'd say, yeah, tomorrow, or go get the money in the backyard off the tree. Money also, because my parents were divorced, there was always an argument about money. So this book had me look at my paradigms about money and about being rich as well. I thought rich meant, celebrities. I remember when I was a kid, I walked to school and I remember there was this young boy who his mom, our dad were driving to school. And at that time, Lincoln Continental was like, the car, right? With the back, that half circle on the back on the trunk. And I never thought that I would be rich someday. I didn't think that was for me. It was for other people. So this book really helped me realize that being rich really is a state of mind. And every person has the right to be rich, just like when we studied You Were Born Rich last week, in the past few weeks. So it's helped me shift my perspective in my relationship with money and what does it mean to me being rich? It's a great question for all our viewers. What does it mean to you? What does money mean to you? What does being rich mean to you? What does success mean to you? These are powerful questions to ask yourself. And then, when you do start diving into this book, reading this book, and it's a very, very small book because they took out all the fluff and just kept really the science behind it, because success is a science, and that's what we'll be getting into more and more as we go on. But I just wanted to just share that this book and these studies have changed the way that I think about and feel about money, being rich, and success.
I really like that, Lou, because growing up, it was sort of the same thing for me, right? I mean, you ask yourself, what beliefs did you grow up with about money? And they were more aligned with scarcity rather than abundance. Other people were rich for some unknown reason almost, or they just lucked into it, or, they just had some job or that paid them, unworldly amounts of money. So it's really, that was something that was for somebody else or other people. And, I was just meant to like work really hard. And, you're going to have 2 or 3 jobs in order to have more money, right? So it was really a scarcity thing. And in this book, and I agree with Jamel's opening and what Lou just said, Waddles begins by stating that the desire for wealth is not only natural, but it's also right. And that's like, wow. When I, first read it, I was like, wow, really? Like, okay, there's this big, that's my paradigm, right? Okay, that sounds like, okay, that's greed, or isn't it greedy to think that? And I remember Les Brown saying, some people say that money is bad or wealth is bad, but everybody wants to find out for themselves. And I love it when he says that. But every person, and Wallace Waddles here is saying that every person has the inborn right to be rich, because wealth allows for the fullest development of your mind, your body, and your soul. And we're going to get into that a bit more. And that's really, really important.
Yeah. For me, when I read the book, it helped me to, as Lou said before, change the beliefs that I had about money, because I am from a very strange culture. So in one side I have the Catholics, is if you have things, you need to leave everything, and if you want to come to the paradise and not to the hell. So it was not nice to have money when I was young, because, and on the other hand, when I was in the school, people was like, they were bullying me because I don't have the money. I don't have that nice shoes so everybody had. Fortunately, we had the same clothes, but what you could see, the difference in the classes was the shoes. And I had horrible shoes that they did, like, somebody did by hand, and they were so awful that people know that I don't have the money to buy that. So from that side, that's like, okay, I was bullied because I didn't have the money. At the same time, the church say that it's not good to have money. And that was, I had a lot of paradigms about money. And you know that I wrote here that there is studies in Kansas State University that says that money issues, questions about money and things, is more of the problem in a couple that create divorce more than children, sex, and everything. Just money. And also, I also did that about 22 to 40% of divorce is about money.
Yeah.
Because it is something that people don't talk about and don't want to talk about. And I know, for example, I don't know how it is in Canada and USA, but here, to talk about money, how much do you earn? This is like, it's like you never go to that dinner, and you will never be invited to that dinner anymore. If you are, talking about how much do you earn, how much you save, nothing about that, because people don't like to talk about that. So it's so strange. And money is just a tool. It's like the car is a tool. Money is a tool. And as Paul said before, it will help us with the body, the soul, and the mind. So we will come back to that.
This is so good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Alicia. Yeah, it's interesting how nobody wants to talk about money, but everybody wants more of it. Right?
Yeah.
Right? They desire more of that. Why is that? Remember, the body is an instrument of the mind. So if you're physically not doing a certain action, I'm not talking about money, that is a paradigm. It's mental conditioning. So most people have a money paradigm. We all do here. But there's varying degrees of it, right? And I'm sure they kind of fluctuate a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the point is, nobody wants to talk about this topic because of that mental conditioning. And we're sharing stories about how our upbringing, how we're brought up as children. And, I come from a lower income family as well. Not super low, but almost there. And it changed throughout the years. And I've seen things, growing up where money was scarce, right? So, and I've seen my parents work very hard, multiple jobs, many hours a day, superhuman stuff, and I adapted that, but with this knowledge, you shared something else there that was triggering some thoughts about this money paradigm. But let me share here in connection to that. In this chapter, Wallace is stating we all have the right to be rich. That my paradigm didn't even want to hear that. I was like, Oh, I have a right to be rich?
Mm-hmm.
That just feels weird for most people. I have a right to be, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Abundance is our birthright. It really is. And we become conditioned since birth not to believe that and take these beliefs, limiting beliefs, to our grave. This is really powerful. So it says here, the object of all life is development. Development. That's why you're here, because you're seeking more. Like all the things you desire, material things, it's all for growth. And now it's coming back to me because Bob's speaking now. He says, money, I think you mentioned this, Lou. Money allows you to express yourself beyond where you are. So if you're a good person, it allows you to express yourself, the goodness of you beyond your own presence. That's basically what it is. So if you're a person that is negative and just want to keep all the money to yourself and don't want to impact people, you'll be that person. So it's an amplifier. So money allows you to be more of what you are beyond your own presence. So the object of life is development. Being really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. See, Wallace goes there right at the top. No person ought to be satisfied with a little if they are capable of using and enjoying more. Wow. And that kind of shook me up. I said, wow, Wallace, that's a bit tough there. But you are capable with unlimited potential. And we tend to not know that and forget who we are. So did anybody catch that? It's right towards the beginning there where he talks about the object of life is development.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, were you finished or?
No, go ahead, Lou.
Oh, okay, so I love just at the very opening paragraph, if I may read it. Whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No man can or woman can rise to their greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless they have plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, they must have many things to use. And they cannot have these things unless they have the money to buy them with. I thank you. So that opening paragraph was an eye opener for me. Again, I need to go back to my early conditioning about money, about what was rich. For me, it was celebrities. That meant rich. And it was that kid that got a ride to school in the Lincoln Continental. And I thought I would always have to work harder and harder. And looking back on my life, I can see how that impacted decisions I would make. Maybe career choices, maybe jobs, because I didn't think I could even apply for a job or go for a career that had a higher income. Well, that's not for me. That's not for me. So it's really powerful how important money is, and for us to really dissect what it means to us, because it's really just an effect. This is what I learned, right? So there is a law of cause and effect. Money is the effect. We are the cause. That's what new thought is about. Like new thought. I have a new idea, a new perspective on money. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys have this. We used to always, I don't know if you can see it well. So this is movie money, right? And it's a big wad of $100 bills, right? And I just keep this on my desk to remind me money is plentiful. Money is plentiful. It really just takes a new idea. So this is where psychic money comes in. because it's an idea, new ideas that can bring in new money, so to speak. When you come up with a great new idea, hello, Steve Jobs, thank you, right? The laptop, these headphones, this teacup, these are all new ideas. So this is why to start to shift the way you think and start to allow those new ideas, when you get an idea, really think about those ideas because those ideas are pushing you forward to grow, to greater your lifestyle, right? I live a wonderful lifestyle now. And before I sometimes would feel a little guilty about that. But now I really embrace it because I mean, I'm 60. How old am I? 63. So I'm at a different stage of my life, and I just really want to enjoy and make the most of it. And in order to do that, money is a necessity. But I have to be in that vibration of abundance, not scarcity or lack, to appreciate this, but it's just an effect. I still have to do the work. We still have to come on Coach's Corner. We still speak to prospects. We still, work with our clients, etc. We still do events. We still do master classes. So we still take action because we understand that we are the cause and money is a tool, as Alicia says, and it is the effect. So when you understand the law of cause and effect, every effect has a cause, and you are the cause. You are the cause with your thoughts, your emotions about money, and what actions you're willing to implement to receive more of it.
That was really good, Lou. That was really, really powerful there. Thank you for that. And Waddles talks about money as being a means of expression. That while higher ideals that come to mind, like love and truth and beauty, they're all important.
Mm-hmm.
But without money, a person cannot fully express or enjoy them. To live a complete life.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that quote that Jamel had mentioned earlier, because I have it highlighted. The object of all life is development, and everything that lives has an inalienable right to the development, to all the development is capable of attaining. And so to live a complete life, you have to be able to afford food, clothing, shelter, education, leisure, culture, and they all require financial resources. And he also go on to say later on that poverty doesn't foster spirituality or virtue, but it actually will breed fear, right? Limitation and struggle, and true advancement of self and service to humanity comes when a person has the means to act freely without being constrained by lack or limitation.
Mm. Yeah, I will show show one thing here. It's like seven levels here, and I'm going to try to explain what Paul talk about a little bit, how I see that. So this is 7 level of psychological development, and the first level then is because the level where we want to have security to to survive, that we need here is like money and health. So it's not money to be rich, as that millions and millions, but money to have the food and the shelter, clothes, everything here, and the health. If you don't have that, that is the basic as a human. it will be very difficult to feel happiness with inside. The second is about love, about people around us. We want to be loved. So the first is I have enough. The second is I am loved. So, and the third is about feeling that I am good enough. So those three are more from the ego perspective, what we need to survive, to feel security in life. Then it comes the transformation, and the transformation we start to learn new things, to go to start to development is a lot of in the personal development. Then in the five is about identity, who I am, what are my values, and all this like finding yourself. And the six and seven, because the six is like helping people around you, uh, um, like cooperation with other people, and the seven is leaving a legacy. So all this, we need the money, because here we have the body needs something is the first, and here are the emotions. And to have that, like having money to do something with your family, to buy things for your family, or experience something. Paul talked about experiencing before, and here is yeah, like transforming. Then you need to go to trainings, or maybe buy a book or something. Then you need money, and here is like helping other people. And if you are not feeling good here in the lower levels, even if you want to help people a lot, but you have in your mind that you are lacking money, that you are lacking love from families, and so, and you are lacking love for yourself, that you feel good enough, it will only create frustration, that you want to help people so much, but you are not feeling safe. So changing the mindset about money will help, of course, help other people. And I remember the first time I met Bob Proctor. He asked me, Alicia, what is your goal? And I said, yeah, I want to create a center for teenagers that they can help with, they can create their own destiny, working with values, but I don't want to earn money. And he looked at me and said, and how do you think that you are going to do that without having money? And that changed my perception about money. You know, I said, yeah, I will not be able to do that without earning money. Because I thought that, oh, I can help them, but I needed the money to buy the land, to to be able to travel, to be able to develop myself so I can help others. You know, so that changed my perception. But it's very important to 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 try to, or not try, you don't try things, you do, to satisfy the needs that we have, so that we can help other people.
So well shared, Alicia. That was amazing. And you know what comes to mind is, if you missed the previous episode where we went over You Were Born Rich, the importance of money, there's a whole chapter on that. And we broke down how money interacts with your life. It dictates your lifestyle, the things you get to do, and circulation of money, how your money basically moves. Money's meant to circulate. And you desiring certain things will allow you to grow, but it will circulate into whatever, maybe you're paying your power bill, And you're basically supporting an infrastructure there for your power. Maybe you want to buy a car, so you're basically paying the salaries of those people that help design it, help make it, help paint it, etc. That's circulation. And that was so well shared there. Money is very important, especially when money is used in a whatever society, like a structured society. So importance of money is there. It dictates, your education, your kids' education, the food that you eat, the vacations, the lifestyle, the home that you live in. It is very important. And Alicia shared a personal story. Bob was right. You can't express the good that you want to do without that income. That's why it's important. And, Wallace says in this book here, some really good stuff here that is related to that. He says the purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life. That's the purpose of nature. We are part of nature, right? Every person should have all that can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less, wow, is sinful. He says sinful there. So that's what's in the book, but he's basically saying to perform less than what you are is not natural, right? And this is why mentorship and personal development is extremely important in your life. If you purchase so many different things, that give you temporary satisfaction, right? And just throwing money away and never invested in yourself to understand yourself, to impact others, or go after that idea, that coffee mug idea, or whatever idea that you have, it shows where your focus is and where your focus lacks. Mentorship is so important. And it even says it there, that the purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life. So if you're not advancing in life, what are you doing? You're not really living, right? And I remember that in another chapter in You Were Born Rich, you're dying. We either create or we disintegrate. So basically achieving, higher forms of living, you are creating the life that you want. He was a bit harsh there when he said to be less. That's what's in the book. I guess he's just trying to, really hammer home that if you're not growing, you're not going anywhere. It's unnatural. You want to go with the flow and create what you want. So yeah, a few things that stood out to me there.
I really like that.
Go ahead, Paul.
Jamel, what you said there, and in referencing the last book that we went through, You Were Born Rich. At the very end is that quote by Steve Bow, who said, God's gift to you is more talent, gifts, and abilities than you will ever hope to use in this lifetime. And your gift to God and humanity is to develop as much of those talents, gifts, and abilities as you can in your lifetime. So it's basically saying the same thing. And, there's a quote that I've highlighted a portion of the book here, and it says, success in life is becoming what you want to be. And you can become what you want to be only by making use of things, and you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. And so to be all that we can be, we need to be able to have that money. And if you're thinking, there's a little, poverty versus riches, Wallace Wattles, he's saying that, poverty doesn't foster spirituality. And it breeds a fear, it breeds limitation and struggle. And that real advancement of yourself and of your service to humanity, service to your community and to humanity, comes when you have a means to act freely without being constrained by lack or limitation. And that means to have money. You can do so much more. And I remember Bob saying also, there's only one of me. There's only one of you. And I can only be at one place at one time. So I can do so much. But if I have money, then my money can be put to use elsewhere and helping others.
Yeah, that reminds me, there's a little tiny book. It's a little booklet called Money is God in Action. I highly recommend that. It'll definitely, I believe, change the way you look at money. But I just wanted to address like sinful for Jamel. And I think what Wallace D. Wattles is trying to say, because it's almost like sin in the book, in the Bible, but sin is missing the mark. That's the definition of sin, or one of the definitions of sin, is missing the mark. So I think that's what he meant in that statement. But also, this next little chapter that I want to read really brought home to me, because to be very mind-body consciousness, and everything I studied was more physical, more on the physical side. And it wasn't until I started studying Bob and his information and materials and doing thinking into results that I realized any program that I ever studied or joined or coaching that I've ever invested in never addressed all three parts. So this little paragraph I just want to read, there are three motives for which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. No one of these is better or holier than the other. All are alike desirable, and no one of the three, body, mind, or soul, can live fully if either of the others is cut short of full life and expression. It is not right or noble to live only for the soul and deny mind or body. And it is wrong to live for the intellect and deny body or soul. When I read that, I started to realize we address all three parts of our personality. And you'll be hard pressed to find that in many of the things that you study, that you watch, that you read, that you hear. And that's why I think we were all so impacted by this material, because it addresses all three parts of us, our spiritual side, our intellect, and the body. And we have an understanding that all three must be addressed. So it's not just taking action. It's not just thinking about something. It's not just the spiritual side and being connected to the divine essence within us. It's all three, and having an understanding that all three together are creating this human experience. So I think that's really, that's what really, and maybe I'm speaking for the others, but I think that's what really connected me with Bob's material, because I didn't understand there were three parts of me. I was just going through the motions. But now that I do understand that there are three parts of me, so to speak, and all three need to be nourished, all three need to be developed, all three need to be expressed. And this is what money is God in action, right? So we're taking those ideas, those spiritual assignments, those spiritual downloads, we're thinking about them, we're getting emotionally connected with them. And if it's truly what we desire to express, we start taking action towards it. So success is it's a creative process, and money is the effect of the impact that we're making. So just food for thought. If you're ever considering coaching or mentorship or a new strategy or a new program, you must consider does this program or coach or whatever, does it address all three parts of me? And that's what we do here.
Yeah, and this is what I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
hear, because the first one is just the body, have it, the health. You want to have the health and the food, money to buy the food, and the other this are more the mind, the emotions, and intellect, and so. And here up is just the soul. We want to help other people, to leave a legacy, to be of a service to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That is the soul calling us. But if we are more like frustrating here downstairs, so her upside, we don't listen to our soul that is calling for more,
Mm-hmm.
for helping, for service, for leaving a legacy, all this.
Mm-hmm.
And as we started at the beginning, and we saw that money is a tool. It will be the tool to have these three things in place. The wrong thing is when we think that money is happiness. That is because of at least for me, is that, oh, but if I have 1 million more in my, or 10,000 more in my account, then I will be happy. And that is not the thing. That happiness is inside, joy is inside. And if we think that the day we get the money will be, I will be happy or joy, then we are chasing the money. That is a tool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good, right? You be the master. Never let money be the master of you. You are the master. And that's something to remind yourself as frequently as possible. That is so good. And Lou, that was, I'm so glad you brought that up. And it's amazing how in my notes, each of us are saying pretty much the same thing. A lot of you mentioned what I already noted, but you said it before I can say it. So we're all in synergy, which is amazing. And, money, all it is an expression, right? And it is basically an effect. You are the cause, right? And what was shared here, it says the person who owns all they want for the living of all the life they are capable of living is rich. Wow. The person who owns all that they want for the living of all the life. So when you're fully expressing yourself and you have everything you desire, that's richness, is what he's saying here. And no person who has not plenty of money can have all they want. So the things you desire, you can't have them without the money. This shows the importance how growth is connected with the goals that you want and the money that you desire. And it says every person naturally wants to become all that they are capable of becoming. Every person. So don't feel bad that you desire certain things. I used to feel bad. I really did. I was like, well, I desire a really nice house. I desired this office. I desire that bookcase. And I felt bad because it wasn't cheap at the time. Right. So I desired to grow, to experience those things. And obviously the money circulated by becoming. And that was the fuller life that I wanted to experience on a spiritual level. Alicia shared different levels of desire. And also it says, this is so good. This is so good. Everywhere it says to understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. He says that in the chapter towards the end. So some people will, your paradigm is say, well, getting money, you know, I'm happy where I am. Getting rich isn't everything. You have to look beyond the money. It's beyond that. It's the essence of who you are. So if you desire something, you must become. Money allows you to be, do, have. And like Alicia shared, the joy and happiness comes first. The money is an effect. Everything is an effect. You have to be first. And to become, basically you're elevating yourself. You're becoming a grander version of who you are. The more money you get, the more experiences you'll have, the more impact you'll have, the grander version of who you are. There's a person hiding in each and every one of us. And our mental conditioning holds us back day after day, month after month, year after year. Or you can choose to really, really tap in with this material and allow it to sink into your subconscious, because you start getting inspired, you start getting motivated, you start thinking differently, you even vibrate at a different vibration, you start attracting to you different things. So it says to understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. So he breaks this down. You have the right to be rich. Some people think they don't have the right. You have the right. So let this be an awakening for you if you thought otherwise, because you have the right. And let this be awakening that this material is vital. Reach out to one of us, because we want to help you with this. We're growing with this. We want to help bring out that version of you that wants to come out and experience more money, right? And of course, it's not just about money, but that money allows you to grow and experience more in life. Get uncomfortable and let's talk about money. And you know what? If you're uncomfortable talking about money, that's your limiting self. That's right, Lou. Hold it up. I'm gonna get my stack too. So if you're comfortable talking about $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, you're in vibration with that amount. If you're uncomfortable hearing those numbers, that's your limiting self. That's uncomfortable. It feels foreign to you. Really think about that. So there's my thoughts there towards the end of that chapter. Where's my? Can I applaud myself? Wow, that was a long one. All right.
We're going to have fun with that.
That was really.
What's that exercise about? How do you think, speak, and feel about money? Would you invite money to your home? Would money come to your home? Right? Does money feel welcome in your home? Or does it feel not welcome because you may talk badly about it? It's not inviting. You must invite the money into your life. Not only the money, but bring your sisters, bring your brothers, bring your family members and friends. Invite it in, because it is an energy. But if there is resistance, if there's the feeling and beliefs of scarcity and lack, it will stay away, because that's what scarcity and lack is. Keeping it away. So we want to invite the energy of money. Show it love, just like you would with someone who's visiting your home. Welcome it, right? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But I was taught that it was not.
Mhm.
So I had to shift my understanding of what it was, how it benefits not only my life, but others. Because I love to give. So being raised in a Catholic school, Alicia, we were always taught to give. And my grandfather worked at the school that I attended. So every now and then he would slip me $1 here and there. And I always donated it. So part of it was guilt, feeling that I didn't deserve that dollar. And then the other part, though, also was to help someone else. But I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to help the animal shelters, the veterans. There's other causes, the trees, 8 billion trees, all kinds of animal things. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the resources to do that. So the more I receive, the more that I allow into my life, the more I can help others. And I think that's really the whole part of circulation, right? Is helping
Yeah.
others grow, helping them when they're in need, just extending a hand and, help lifting somebody up. But that all takes, can you do it with love? Absolutely. Absolutely. But just love alone, the emotion of love is not going to put food on the table. It's not
Yeah.
going to help somebody if they need medical assistance. So just food for thought.
I see the relationship that we have with money is as the same relationship that we have with our partner, or if you are not respecting your partner, or taking care of your partner, or showing love to your partner, or disrespect the partner will leave. And it's the same with money. If you don't show respect and love, and take care of that, so it will leave. And also, when I was young, it was also a guilty thing that in the church, because they say, oh, you need to give money, but I didn't have anything. And then I got guilty, because I felt guilty, because I felt, oh, now I'm to the hell because I don't have the money to give. So it's like, oh my gosh. So but and also you can do an exercise that sit, and you put a stool mm, in front of you, and you imagine money sitting in the other place, in the other stool, talking to you. What will it say to you?
Mm.
Ah, thank you for loving me, or I hate you because you don't never accepted me, or you don't like me, or something like that, like that. This also, and also what you say to yourself. I do my affirmation. I say, I am money. I am the flow of the money. I I I I I stop saying that I attract money, because I am money. I am the flow of the money. You know. So talking to you in that way.
Mm.
I love that Lou brought that up, because I had a little section here that I had highlighted, and also there's Jamel's money. Give me some of that.
There you go.
Show me the money.
And Alicia was speaking about happiness, and so in conjunction, there's the part that I highlighted was a man's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits on those he loves. Lou was talking about giving. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. And the person who has nothing to give cannot fill his or her place as a citizen or as a man or woman. And so, and then it goes on to say, in the use of material things, a man finds full life for his body, develops his mind, and unfolds his soul. And so it's supreme importance for him to be rich. And as Jamel was saying, it's a sin. So wealth is as a duty, Wallace is saying. And he says that it's not only your right to be rich, but actually it's your duty to be rich, because by seeking wealth or money in a constructive, creative way, then you will fulfill your potential and you will align yourselves with the natural laws of growth and abundance. And I think that one of the key takeaways was that the author Wattles is reframing the pursuit of wealth or money as a noble and necessary thing to do, not a selfish one, because being rich allows for fuller living and greater contributions and your ability to give. And that aligns you with the natural order of progress.
Wow. I'm so glad you shared that, Paul, because, you know, that shows it's a noble thing to do. A lot of people's mindset sees it as a selfish thing to do, right? Because you're expressing yourself even more by achieving more and earning while attracting or manifesting more money. That I'm so glad you shared that part. And there's one last part I wanted to share here that is in relation to that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with desiring more. If you had a belief that getting rich, there's something wrong with that, that is mental conditioning. It's interesting how we allow other people's consciousness and beliefs in our environment shape what we feel we desire. And speaking of desire, it says, wherever there's unexpressed possibility or a function not performed, there is unsatisfied desire. Wherever there's unexpressed possibility, we have unlimited potential. So if it's unexpressed, that's unsatisfied desire. And desire is a possibility seeking expression. Spirit wants to express itself to and through you. And that's why you have a desire for more income or whatever material thing, or even just intangible things, to be able to donate to your favorite charities every month, to be able to do, you know, free things for maybe minorities or societies or whatever good that you want to express. Desire is a possibility seeking that expression. So, wow, I can't believe it's over an hour already. Wow. So, you know, if this really spoke to you and you want to learn more, contact one of us to see if mentorship is a good fit for you. You know, if this spoke to you, you watched the whole thing and you're here live, or you watched a replay and you watched that tells you that you're seeking something. You attracted this very message at this very moment in your life. Don't let it dissipate or like just disappear. We're all here to help you. And, you know, we're going through it ourselves. We're growing as people. I see it every week we grow. And if you pay attention to every session, this is a very powerful group and a very giving group. And we want the best for you. We do. But you have to make a choice and get uncomfortable and contact one of us. All right. So amazing call, amazing session. Y'all have the right to be rich, right? Where is all the, I wish I had a money sound effect. Yeah. All right. So there's our props today.
Yay, finally.
And you know what's interesting? Really quick, on the first dollar bill, I write, "Thank you for all the money I have received."
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I have gratitude for the money that I'm attracting in advance, and also all the money I received in my life. So you can use that to shift your perception and your vibration as well. So anybody have anything going on for September that you want to share?
I do. At the World Life Education Center, there's a 5-day high school success skills series from September 15th to the 19th, 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. each day. And if you want more information, shoot me a message. But it's in Oakville at 2655 Bristol Circle. It's on the second floor in Oakville.
Great.
Amazing.
And I always have the values assessment. So do you want to know more about your values? What values do you have? Which level are you on in your journey? And also, are the values you have fighting each other? Just contact me.
Wonderful. So I'm wrapping up Soulful Summer Conversations. We've been doing this all summer, and they've been wonderful conversations that myself, another colleague, Christina, and wonderful women that have been coming on, and we've had these great topics that kind of dive deep, but it's a safe space where you can just open up. The calls are not recorded. And we're just there to listen. You get to share whatever's going on in your life, and we just hold the space for you. So this coming Tuesday will be the last call. What is the topic? It has something to do with goals, living the life that you really want. I forget the name of it. But if you're interested, please reach out. You can DM me on social media. And also, I do offer a purpose and prosperity session that's 45 minutes. If that is something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out. I also wanted to just read this very last statement in this particular chapter. You can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. Think about that.
Yay. And how do you make the most of yourself? You contact one of us. All right. So, was that it, Lou? Was that?
Yep, that was it.
Okay. And September 13th, 9 a.m. Eastern, I'm doing a live webinar, and it'll be online. It's free or no cost. So you can join me there, reach out to me for details. And the topic will be, it came to me finally, the science of getting rich. So I'll be doing in-depth, covering things there, especially if this spoke to you today. So I'll be touching on different things there and different value. So looking forward to that. And this has been an awesome live stream. You know, I'm always blessed to be able to work with amazing colleagues such as yourselves, and very grateful for this. So we'll see you next Sunday on Coach's Corner. We'll be doing the second chapter, which I don't recall right now, but either way, you know, act on this material now. Stop waiting. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
You know.
It never gets old.